Yo ho ho, Bills Mafia. Welcome to yet another edition of the Dom Mafia Show. As always, your host, Dan Mitchell. To say that you're new here, I'm an avid member of the Bills Mafia, and I regularly put out videos about the Buffalo Bills and the NFL in general. Say that that's your cup of tea, I highly recommend subscribing to this channel, and as always, smashing the ever-living out of that like button. Speaking of the Buffalo Bills' current cap space situation is less than ideal. As of right now, we are currently $20 million over the cap, significantly in the negatives. So what exactly are the Buffalo Bills going to do this offseason where we can actually get some money to go out and fill in some of the inevitable holes that are about to be created on our roster? Well, today I ended up using this awesome site. It's called Spot Track, and we're going to go through each and every single possibility, restructures, and see how much money is truly possible for Brandon Beane to essentially pull out of his ass. Right before we dive into that, though, I do need to give a giant shout out to today's sponsor, and that just so happens to be BetUS. Now, there are a lot of sports books out there, but BetUS is hands down my personal favorite. Whether you're talking about point spreads and over-unders, standard money lines, player prop bets, novelty bets, then BetUS is the place to be. Especially with the Super Bowl coming around, this is probably one of the most exciting times to actually put some money down. Best part about it is that they are hooking up my audience. The second you sign up, they're giving you a free $50 just for signing up. And say that you do decide to deposit, your very first deposit will be matched all the way up to $2,500 at 125%. So essentially you're getting free money. And say that you know what you're doing, you could easily turn that into easy money. So whatever you're doing, make sure you go look at those links in my bio, and happy gambling. So yeah, the salary cap, we're certainly not in a good position as of right now, and I feel like literally any other content creator I talk to that discusses other teams, they're always going to talk a little trash, right? Being like, oh man, Josh Allen's contract's really biting you in the ass right now, isn't it, buddy? So you paid Von Miller way too much money, bro. Y'all are going to be absolutely screwed. The list goes on and on with the potential troll comments. However, there's a couple of things I always like putting into light. Number one, we have an absolute wizard when it comes to the overall cap, and that is Brandon Beane, and I have full confidence that he will be able to put something together. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that no matter how much money we can somehow find on Spot Track right now, do not expect to see any sort of off-season splash play. I know like all of us are spoiled with that Diggs move a couple of years ago and then with Von Miller last year, but more than likely we're probably just going to be getting complementary players that can sort of fill in the void of what is about to happen. So as you can see here, we have all of the players that are expected to get a cap hit in 2023. Now, we do have a lot of Buffalo Bills that were on the roster last year that are about to be unrestricted free agents. That's for a video for another time. These players right here is going to be responsible for why we are $20 million over the cap. And so what a lot of NFL organizations do when they are in a predicament such as this is that they transfer any sort of guaranteed money or massive contracts to signing bonuses, which essentially allows these organizations to get a little bit extra money to not only pay their draft class at absolute minimum, but also have a little bit of money to spend going into that next season. And that's exactly what I think Brandon Beane is planning on doing this offseason. So like I said, this is entirely theoretical. I'm literally just going to restructure as many people as I possibly can to see how much money potentially the Buffalo Bills can have. But then again, do keep in mind, there could be some players that could tell them to go f*** yourself. So this is exclusively hypothetical. And so as you can see right now, we're currently at negative 21. Josh Allen's cap hit next year is close to $40 million. Now, this is a base salary, and then that's also his guaranteed money tied into this. So say that we restructure Josh Allen. Right over there, we only end up having to pay him $18 million, and then the remainder of that figure gets paid into as a signing bonus. And look at that, right there, we save close to $21 million, and we're only $125,000 over the cap. Stephon Diggs, say that we were to restructure him, we turn in that guaranteed money into a signing bonus. Then we end up saving some more money, and then look at that. Now we are currently at $5 million over the cap. The big one right here is going to have to be Von Miller. This guy ended up suffering an ACL injury, and Brandon Beane is suggesting that we won't even see him till maybe the middle of the season next year. So I could definitely see this being a restructuring target for the Buffalo Bills. Same with Tre'Davious White. Say that we restructure his. That is significant savings. Looks like we end up going $5 million over the cap in that scenario. Dion Dawkins, $14 million over the cap. Matt Milano, $18 million over the cap. Mitch Morse, $21 million. Taron Johnson, which would be interesting, $23 million. Dawson Knox, who just ended up getting paid, very marginal difference. Ryan Bates, quite a few. Naeem Hines, 27. Ciaran Neal, not a whole lot to ride home about. And then $28 million right there. Say that we were to move that forward. So realistically, this is only suggesting that we are able to literally restructure every single player on this team that has any sort of guaranteed money. And so $28 million is essentially the top situation where we can get at this point. Now, it's probably just going to be exclusively made for our draft class. Just maybe bring back one person from last year that's on that long, exhaustive list of unrestricted free agents, and then maybe be able to figure out some sort of trade. However, it is clear that Brandon Beane needs to hit on the draft better than he frankly has ever. So do me a favor and sound off in the comments. Once again, it's not realistic that everyone's going to restructure their contract. Who do you think Brandon Beane is going to look for in order to make this happen? Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for tuning in. And before I let you go, you better always remember, let's go Buffalo.